All right, next game on the docket, we have the Atlanta Falcons against Cincinnati Bengals. Bengals are 6.5-point home favorites. The over-under has been bet up to 47.5 here. Marcus Mariota carved up the Niners defense last week, finished with the highest QBR and EPA per play of all quarterbacks last week. Bengals obviously got a last-minute win against the Saints. A couple injuries, especially in this Falcons secondary. Both starting cornerbacks, A.J. Terrell and Casey Hayward, are on the injury report, along with linebacker Michael Walker. Everyone I hear in this game seems to be loving the Bengals. I don't really get it. The Bengals needed a Jamar Chase 60-yard touchdown with like 5 broken tackles with 2 minutes left to narrowly escape against the Saints team that basically has their whole team on the injury report. And they really haven't looked that good this season. The Falcons, obviously the only undefeated team against the spread in the league. So for me, this is probably Falcons or pass. I'm waiting on a 7, but I'm seeing a lot of support in the market for the Bengals this week, and I'm not really understanding it totally. What do you have in this game?
Well, if those injuries to the top two cornerbacks are legit,
That's
and
true. That is very
and
problematic.
yeah, and they miss this game, then I think I would swipe in and grab the Bengals at 6. It
You would
is
lay 6 points, really?
if both their top cornerbacks are missing, yeah, because I think as bad like the Bengals have looked like an average team for most of the year, but last week, despite what it took to win the game, like that was this Bengals team last week or last year. Like you had Jamar Chase making those splash plays. Joe Burrow completed 75% of his passes, so it was kind of the first sighting of those 2021 Bengals. Now, look, I don't expect it to keep up consistently, but if the Falcons are missing their top two corners, yeah, I would lay it. But as it sits, if both those guys are in, I think it would be a lean to the Falcons. I don't know at what point I shift to coming into the season and thinking how bad this Falcons team was going to be, to then shifting my mindset to, oh, this is actually an average team. Like their defense just, teams should be able to move the ball against them. And I don't know why teams can't figure out this
It's
run
what we
game. Like,
said last week when we
like it
met the
just
Niners, and
it
it didn't
just
go well.
it just doesn't, like, how long can they win games with Mariota throwing 14 passes and running the ball with Tyler Algier and Caleb Huntley? Like
The
it just
run game is good. Like, it doesn't make
um
sense. They're good.
no, I agree. And look, like in terms of DVOA, these teams are 11th and 12th, so they're right next to each other. So like 6.5 points, it seems like a lot of points here, but I think I'm just gonna pass it as is. If those top cornerbacks are ruled out for Atlanta, I would lay the 6 with the Bengals.
All right, no play on the spread for me here. I think my favorite play is the over, especially the Bengals team total over for a lot of the points that we just mentioned. In the 6 games that the Bengals have played so far this year, 3 of the games were against top half of the league defenses with good pass rushes. They scored 20 against the Steelers, 17 against the Cowboys, 17 against the Ravens. When they played the lower level competition on defense, 3 games against bottom half of the league defenses, they scored 27 against the Jets, 27 against the Dolphins, 30 against the Saints. Joe Burrow has them top 5 in success rate in a clean pocket with no pressure over the last 2 seasons. Falcons ranked dead last in adjusted sack rate. T. Higgins should be a full go this week, back to full strength. So I think the Falcons offense is going to be able to put enough pressure on the scoreboard to keep the Bengals passing, keep them aggressive. So I think the Bengals get 28-31 here. I think the Falcons get a decent amount too. So play that however you want to. If you want to just take the game total over 47.5, if you like the matchup for the Bengals a little bit more, take their team total over 27. I think those are my 2 favorite ways to attack this game.
I think you just made me want to bet the Bengals. That was a pretty good breakdown. The case for the over to me was a case for the Bengals.
It was, but I do think the Falcons offense can still have success.
All right,
I
I
like
like
what
the
they've been
team
doing
total
in the
play.
run game. Yeah, the
27 and
team
a
total is
half.
good.
All right,
27. You can get 27 on FanDuel minus 110.
all right, I'll play the team total. I like that.
All right. I like it. Prop looks in this game. No official plays right now, but definitely looking in the Bengals passing game over, like we mentioned, see where T. Higgins is lined up. I think Burrow came in like the mid 280s. So that would be my look in this one. Nothing on the Falcons.
Yep, same here.
All right, let's go to an interesting game here. Packers against the Washington Footballs. Footballs are 5.5-point home dogs. The over-under is 41.5, leaning towards 41. Randall Cobb going to be out for the Packers. And then the Footballs, the big news, Carson Wentz out a few weeks with an injury. Taylor Heineke stepping back in as the Commanders quarterback. Logan Thomas and Jahan Dotson both going to be questionable in this passing game. Last week, Aaron Rodgers graded as the worst quarterback in the league with a negative 0.6 EPA. EPA. He now ranks outside the top 20 in EPA and QBR over the entire season. And the Packers' only win in the month of October is against Bailey Zappi in his first snaps as a quarterback in overtime. What do you have here? Packers footballs. Can we back Taylor Heineke in the footballs, or is this the get right spot that everybody has been waiting for in Lambeau?
Yeah, so this was sitting at 5.5 for most of the week. I think it's down to 4.5 now. Did you say?
I think there's still some 5.5, but yeah, it's somewhere between 4.5. Not really a big difference. 4.5, 5.5.
No. So I was waiting for the 6, but I knew there was a chance it was going to go down to 4.5, and I was fine taking it there. I just think we need to accept the fact that this Packers team, they're not a good team anymore. They're an average team. The offense is a disaster, and now we have a matchup where running the ball is going to be tough. And I never thought I'd say this, but I don't think you can trust Aaron Rodgers in this passing game. You just gave the numbers on how bad he's been and, the entire passing offense. Now you lose Randall Cobb, who's become a pretty important piece of the offense. And this defense, they can't stop the run no matter who it is. And the footballs, they're not a great the commander, sorry, I still call them the footballs, but they arguably an upgrade at quarterback with Heineke, a lateral move, whatever you want. Like Heineke and Wentz, they're both just kind of wild card guys. They can look great, they can look terrible. So I'm not looking at that as a downgrade. And in a matchup where they should be able to run the ball, and this Packers defense hasn't been. Like we came in this year, like their personnel is great. Like they
should be an awesome defense.
Yeah, I was expecting them to have like a top 5 defense, and that has not been the case. So
that was why I was so high on them coming into the season. It's like even if their offense is just okay, like this should be a top 5 defense, and they're just not. They're just not good.
Yeah, and the other thing is with Heineke coming in, I think it honestly pumps some life into this team. Like
sure.
You have guys who've played with Heineke, like McLaurin, who really hasn't done much in the offense. Like guys like him might get energized, and you pull off this win. It could kind of flip the script on Washington's season. I'm not going to say they're going to make a run at the playoffs, but with how bad things have been in that organization and what Wentz has done this year, I think the change is a welcome change by the team. So this is just far too many points for the Packers to be laying right now. I think last week, albeit one game, I mean, they lost to the Giants the week before. I just think it shows it's a good barometer of where this team's at right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I took the footballs plus 4.5. I took them plus 3 in the first half. I think Taylor Heineke really re-energizes this offense, gives them some life, especially to start the game. And I think that the Packers just kind of are who they are at this point. You mentioned Terry McLaurin. I love his prop this week, opened at 50.5. He has some chemistry with Heineke. Packers actually ranked 31st in DVOA against opposing wide receiver 1. So I thought that was criminally low. He's been lined in the high 50s this year, even low 60s with Wentz. Obviously hasn't had a ton of production, but with Heineke back in there, I think they get Terry McLaurin going here, and he's in for a big game.
I like that.
All right, footballs win. McLaurin, footballs cover. Any other props for you in this one?
Where did Brian Robinson open up?
Yeah, he was like mid 50s. It was actually getting bet under.
Really? Okay, yeah. I'll wait on that then. I would love that. I think what did he see last week? 15 carries.
He's 52.5 right now. Plus 110 to the over. And he got like 15 carries last
15. Week. Yeah, I like that a lot. We've seen, like we kind of talked about last week, you could tell this Packers defense you're running the ball, and they're still not going to be able to stop it right now. He
didn't look great last week against the Bears. Like I wasn't that impressed when I watched him, but he can get there on volume, especially against this defense. So.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't even mind grabbing it now plus money. So
no, not at all.
All right, let's move on to the NFC South. Bucs against the Panthers. Panthers are 10.5 to 11-point home dogs. The over-under is around 41. Julio Jones, Cameron Brate, both probably not going to play for the Bucs. Logan Ryan is likely also not going to play. Akeem Hicks may come back this week. And then on the Panthers side, they announced that P.J. Walker will start. Jeremy Chin out. J.C. Horn questionable. And Robbie Anderson exiled to Arizona. Are we worried about Tom Brady? Like mentally, physically, emotionally? He's divorced. He seems to hate his teammates. The Bucs offense sucks right now. Like, could this get ugly?
I found out yesterday that he missed practice on Friday or to go to Robert Kraft's wedding.
Yeah, I saw the picture Sunday morning. I was like, wait, is this a real thing? Like,
I'm not, and I'm not going to say that factored into the win, but it's more, or the loss. I mean, but it's more just a bad look. The team's struggling right now. You haven't been great, and you're missing practice to go to a 98-year-old man's wedding. It's like, I mean, I don't know. That was pretty strange to me. But I got sucked into betting the Bucs last week once Minka got ruled out. I got a good number. number. I got 2 points of closing line value, but man, this offense, I just do not know what is going on. 16th in DVOA, it just is not clicking. Uh, defensively too, you're only getting 2 sacks against that offensive line and allowing 20 points to Mitch Trubisky comes in and completes 75% of his passes for 144 yards and a touchdown.
Not good.
144 yards is what the guy was putting up in full games when he was starting. So it's just bad for this team right now. But I can't back the Panthers. I mean, like the Panthers had 203 total yards last week. Christian McCaffrey had 158. That's unbelievable.
It's impossible.
They're just not good. You got Robbie Anderson getting kicked off the sideline. This organization is in the dumpster. This game is a complete pass. I mean, I honestly do think the Bucs are gonna put it together at some point. Like I don't expect.
I hope so.
I don't expect them to be out of it come playoff time. But there just really hasn't been any encouraging signs from the offense and the defense letting up points in matchups they shouldn't. It's just not there for me right now. So I'm passing this one.
Yeah, I'm with you here. This is a pass on the spread. The Bucs offense, like you mentioned, totally broken. 3 for 9 in the red zone over the last 2 games against the Falcons and Steelers. Pretty weak defenses. Want to hear a fun PJ Walker stat from last week?
Oh, God, yeah.
He completed 10 passes on the day. Want to guess how long his longest completion was in terms of air yards? How far the ball actually traveled in the air before it landed in the receiver's hands?
Considering all of them went to Christian McCaffrey, like 4 yards, maybe
1 yard. He had one pass that was in front of the line of scrimmage. He completed 9 passes behind the line. That's not even possible. That was their passing offense last week.
That is unbelievable.
Yeah. So my bet in this game, Panthers team total under 14.5. I know we just kind of crapped on the Bucs defense a little bit, but I mean, they're too talented to let the Panthers score more than 14 points. They had 203 total yards of offense. 98% of it was Christian McCaffrey, like you just said. Bucs still have a good run D, and they may get Akeem Hicks back for this week, which should help that even more. Panthers are going to finish around 6 to 10 points. And their only touchdown last week was a defensive touchdown because Matthew Stafford just can't wait to throw a pick 6 every game he plays.
Last I saw that was at 13.5, so I like it now that it moved up. I guess it moved up with the news PJ Walker was starting. I don't know, not sure why, but yeah,
99% sure. Yeah, FanDuel right now, Panthers team total 14.5.
Okay, all right, I like that.
All right, we are in on that. Props in this one. Probably going to have to look at Christian McCaffrey receptions. I know Dave, friend of the show, gave us this one last week. I didn't play it. You didn't play it. He ended up with 7 for 89 and was the entire offense. So if we get another 4.5, maybe even 5.5 plus money, probably just have to take it.
Can I bet Christian McCaffrey over 80% of the offensive yards for the Panthers?
Yeah, can we get that bet?
Yeah.
All right, ready to move on?
Yeah.
All right, next up, Houston Texans against the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are laying 7 points at home here. Over under is up to 45.5. Darren Waller, questionable, probably trending towards out. Didn't practice today with a hamstring injury. Backup tight end Foster Moreau also on the injury report, but it does sound like star wide receiver Devontae Adams will be clear in this one regarding his legal situation. I grabbed the Texans +7 on the look-aheads last week. Didn't necessarily get any movement here on the spread, but I still think that this is just too many points for the Raiders to be laying. They're 1-4 on the season. They lost outright to a crap Cardinals team as 5.5-point favorites. They lost outright to a Titans team as 2-point favorites. They did beat Denver, but just overall, I haven't really been that impressed with their offense or their defense. And the Texans, you mentioned this when you were betting them against the Jaguars a few weeks ago. They just kind of hang around in games. 4-1 against the spread. Their only loss was that when they were +5.5 to the Chargers, and they did almost backdoor that game. I think this defense is actually pretty underrated. Held the Jags to 6 points. The Bears scored 23. Broncos only got 16. Colts got 20. They've really established Dameon Pierce on this offense now that he's the clear-cut bell cow back. I think they can move the ball a little bit, and maybe Davis Mills can show something against this weak Raiders secondary. So this is Texans or pass for me. I played them +7, and I think they will keep this game pretty close. I see a Raiders last-second win here.
Yeah, I think it's definitely Texans or pass, but I go through this matchup and I'm like, give me something. I'm looking to find something the Texans are good at, and it's just offense. No, bottom 5 on offense.
Defense has been pretty good.
Defense, no, you're allowing 5 yards per carry, 6.8 yards per pass, fourth. Like they're allowing a ton of pressures on offense. They also lead the league in missed tackles on defense. Like there's, they've
That happens.
they've less than 300 yards in 3 out of the 5 games they've played this season. So like, okay, maybe Davis Mills can, take advantage of the secondary. No, he's bottom 5 in QBR and EPA. Like
he improved over the bye week. He was studying his butt off.
Like I just can't find anything giving me a reason to back the Texans here. Like it looks like too many points, but like at the same time, like the Raiders showed they have a pulse on offense the last 2 games. They put up 29 and 32 points. Yeah, the defense.
Yeah, they also showed they're going to allow 25 points a game to everyone, apparently.
I don't know if they will to this Texans team. Like, I don't really know. Like, Max Crosby could give them huge issues off the edge. Like I said, they're allowing
the Broncos scored touchdowns against this defense.
They have 2 great pass rushers coming off the edge. I'm just saying, like, that's an
Dameon
issue.
Pierce.
So.
It's a Dameon Pierce game.
Yeah, and look, I agree. Like the Raiders are the only team to allow the corpse Broncos offense to score 20 points, and they also allowed a season high to the Cardinals. So yeah, like I agree the play is the Texans, but it's a pass for me. I just can't get there. There's nothing. Like I just need something. I think the Texans can do well in this game, and I can't find it.
Nah, they got some good secondary pieces. Jalen Petrie, Derek Stingley. I think the Texans are live here. I think they're going to keep it close.
All right.
I played Dameon Pierce over rush yards in the prop market. Opened at 66.5. Hoping for a little bit lower, but I still think it's good. 26 for 99 and 1, 14 for 131, 20 for 80, 15 for 69. So over this in every game since being named the starter over Rex Burkhead in week 2. Just looks great if you watch him play football, breaking tackles, carrying guys across the field. I think he goes for 75 plus.
All right. I like it. Volume play.
Probably nothing on the Raiders. I'll probably convince myself to take Josh Jacobs under again, and he'll go for like 200 yards. I just can't get off that.
I got nothing here.
All right, let's go to the aforementioned Russell Wilson-led Denver Broncos. They are now a pick'em -1 at home to the New York Jets in Mile High. Over/under is down to 38.5. It's dropping quickly. Obviously, the big news here, Russell Wilson on the injury report with a shoulder and a hamstring. Market will tell you it's probably trending towards Brett Ripien over Russell Wilson, but no official word. Ronald Darby, Randy Gregory also going to be out for the Broncos as well. And the Jets are coming in as 4-2 and basically the talk of the town. Looked really good. Upset the Packers last week, have all the momentum. Melvin Gordon gets benched last game. Then all of a sudden Coach Hack Job comes out today and says he's starting running back for the team, and they worked it out. So there's a lot going on in Denver. I don't know what the heck's going on. Did you grab a piece of the Jets? Are you going to wait and bet the Broncos here? What's your strategy on this one? A lot of moving parts.
Yeah, so I bet the under 42.5. Obviously, that's nowhere close anymore. I think this is going to be a buy point for me on the Broncos. I'll wait for the Russ news. If he's in and it stays under a field goal. If he's out and it's Brett Ripien and I'm catching a couple points, I'll play the Broncos.
You would play them +2.5 with Ripien?
I do. I think this defense is elite, and I haven't seen anything from Zach Wilson to give me confidence in him. And I'm not going to say, it's an even quarterback matchup, but like, look at Zach Wilson's numbers over the last few games. Yet the dude hasn't had to do anything. And this Broncos defense has allowed 1 passing touchdown the entire season.
Here's the problem. The way to beat the Broncos defense is to run the ball, and that's the thing that the Jets do best on offense. Like the game plan that they had last week, Zach Wilson barely threw the ball. They handed it off to Breece Hall, and he just dominated. If that's the way that you attack the Broncos defense, I actually think this is a really good matchup for the Jets offense. Zach Wilson's not going to have to do anything.
They're not like Chargers bad to me.
No, they're not terrible, but that's like, how you beat them. Like that's
their weakness, but it doesn't mean they're like what are their numbers?
They're 18th in DVOA against the run right
so
now.
Yeah, they're a little below average. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, like
the Jets have a really good running offense. Like Breece Hall's awesome.
Yeah, Breece Hall's great. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I just like you're giving me a pick 'em at home with the Broncos here. Like at some point, this Jets love is going a little bit too far here. Like
we said this last week against the Packers, and it had
because it was that was a 7-point spread. We're talking on the road in Denver now, and we're talking a pick 'em here against the Broncos are a top 3 defense right now. Like okay, yeah, they're a little bit weaker against the run, but Zach Wilson's going to have to do something here. They had the block punts against they had 1 or 2 block punts against Green Bay last week.
At least 1. I don't remember.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think you're going to need to see something from his offense, but this is going to be an ugly game for sure. Like, and honestly, at this point, Brett Ripien could be an upgrade from Russell Wilson for all we know. Like, how much worse could he look than what Wilson's?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like, that's like it's gross that I even have to say that, but it's
Yeah.
true. I mean, really, the guy.
But it's just like, what are the Broncos like? They can't run the ball. That I don't. What are they going to do on offense? I don't know.
You're gonna force Zach Wilson into a couple. Like this is gonna be an ugly game. Like if this game, I will be shocked if this game breaks 40. I really will. This if
I
this
almost
line,
just bet the under at 38.5 if I didn't have the under 42. I mean,
yeah, if this line held at 40.5, it was gonna be my favorite bet of the week on the under.
maybe you get Russ in and you can get it again. I mean, how do
Maybe,
either of
yeah.
these teams get to 20?
Wilson
I
had
don't
what
see it.
13 passing yards in the second half and overtime? Are you kidding me?
It was impossible.
We have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, and oh my god, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah, this game, this
Yeah,
perplexing game. I don't know.
is.
I don't know. I'm probably gonna bet the Jets. Honestly, I don't know.
Did you say you bet the Jets or no?
I bet him a little bit at like +2, but
Okay.
I was trying to wait to see if we got news, but the line keeps dropping, so I don't know what I'm gonna end up doing here.
Okay.
But I'm glad we got the under before that moved too much.
Yeah.
Props, definitely going to look at Breece Hall, rush yards, total yards, whatever we get there. Hopefully we get something like last week. We can take the over. Maybe unders on Zach Wilson if they post decently high, but that's probably about it.
Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, let's go to the Seattle Seahawks against the LA Chargers. Chargers are 6-point home favorites. Over under is 51.5. Keenan Allen forever questionable on the Chargers side. No main injuries on the Seahawks. What do you have here? Seahawks versus Chargers. Any bets in the account?
No, I kind of wish I grabbed the Seahawks at 7. I just feel like this Chargers team, you could put any players, any combination of players on the roster, they would just somehow be the same exact team. Like they're just so underwhelming. They have the potential to put up 40 points one week, and then they just throw out duds. The defense has great personnel, and okay, yeah, they were fine last week against Denver, but they're not there's no consistency. That's a problem with the Chargers. Just no consistency. And it just makes me so weary to bet on this team. And at the same time, like the Seahawks, like we saw their offense come back down to earth a little bit. So is it, are we going to start seeing that regression of Geno Smith not being a top five quarterback in the league here? So I don't know. Like I'm torn here where like I want to bet the Seahawks at 6.5, but if it dipped to like 5 or 4.5, I'd probably start looking the Chargers. So it's in a little bit of a dead zone right now for me. Like a lot of these games, I'm just like pass for me at right now on Wednesday.
Yeah, I think there's a lot where you can wait and see, like if the number gets to this, then maybe we can bet it. I'm kind of with you. 7 would definitely be a buy for me on the Seahawks. I think when that line was posted, it was before the Monday night game, so I didn't take it. But yeah, if we got Seahawks +7, I think I would have to take it. Just asking this Chargers team to win by more than a touchdown seems like a pretty bad idea. I think, the Seahawks offense didn't put up a ton of points last week, but they were still moving the ball. I think Geno can do a little bit better this week. And Kenneth Walker looked awesome on the ground. We know the Chargers rush defense is pretty weak. I think he's an awesome guy to look at in the prop market. 8 for 88 and 21 for 97 the last 2 weeks. The only guy who can't run on the Chargers defense is apparently Melvin Gordon, but pretty much everybody else has ran all over them. So I think the Seahawks can keep it close. I think they can score some points. I'll probably end up with the Seahawks taking hopefully at 7. If not, I'll take them at 6.5 and I'll bet Kenneth Walker over rush yards.
Yep. Yeah, I am definitely expecting a monster week from Kenneth Walker. I think we're going to get a line in the 70s. I really do, and I would absolutely smash that over.
Yeah, I'm with you. Any other prop looks for you?
No, that's it.
All right, let's go to not Sunday Night Football. It's a 4:25 Eastern start. Kansas City Chiefs against the San Francisco 49ers. Niners are, wow, this one actually just dipped down. Niners are 2.5-point home dogs now. Over under is up to 48.5. Rashad Fenton and Trent McDuffie, both questionable in the Chiefs secondary. And then the Niners defense still in really rough shape here. Nick Bosa practiced in a limited capacity today, but still questionable with that groin injury. Jimmy Ward's still out. Travarius Ward and Talonga Hufanga, both added to the injury report as questionable. Trent Williams likely out, but questionable. Mike McGlinchey questionable. So a lot of missing pieces here on the Niners side. I grabbed the Chiefs money line on the opener here. I think it was around minus 130, but I'm totally fine with laying 2.5 now that that spread has dropped down. I think the injuries that we've seen on the Niners defense is really the story here. We kind of underplayed them a bit last week, thinking, oh, they'll be able to get by the Falcons. They don't even pass the ball. Like, no big deal. Turns out the Falcons put up 28 points and dominated the game. So maybe you get Nick Bosa here, and that's a little bit of an upgrade. But, losing 3 to 4 starters from the secondary against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid coming off a loss. Like, I think this is just such a great bounce back spot for the Chiefs. And I know the Niners are coming off a loss too, but I just think that their secondary is not going to be able to stop Mahomes in this offense. So give me the Chiefs.
Yeah, this line is shocking to me after we just saw what
I can't believe it's Falcons, down to 2.5. Yeah.
With how banged up the Niners are, and you're right, I underplayed last week because I was like, the secondary, I don't really care, but Marcus Mariota completed 150% of his passes, and they just didn't have an answer. And I think what I saw last week is this is what happens when you force this 49ers team to play from behind and become a pass first offense. Jimmy G had to throw
not pretty.
Jimmy G had to throw 41 passes, and with how banged up they are in the secondary, I could see something similar here where the Chiefs get up to an early 2-touchdown lead or something, and you force the Niners to play from behind a majority of the game. It's just not their MO. It's not how they want to win games. I'm shocked this game went down to 2.5. I was expecting the 3.5 to show up before the 2.5. So give me the Chiefs here. And the Chiefs looked fine last week. Like we said, it was a couple, uncharacteristic mistakes, but they were right there with the Bills, who are, everyone's highly regarded the best team in the league, and they probably are. So the Chiefs are, one drive or one mistake away from winning that game. So right now, to me, the Chiefs are just a class above the Niners. So and Niners are also coming back from 2 weeks on the East Coast too. So they're coming back home here. So I don't know how much you factor that in, but definitely something to note.
Yeah. Yeah, Chiefs team total 25 points this week. You normally don't see the Chiefs under 27 on the team total very often, so that could be another way to attack this game if you don't want to look at the spread or the money line's too expensive. Just take the Chiefs team total over 25 and think their passing game gets it done.
All right.
Props, probably tough on this one. Unfortunately, this is the problem with this Chiefs offense. We like the passing game. We think they can put up a ton of points. Who the heck is it going to be? I have no idea. Kelsey's going to be lying pretty high like he is every week. And the Niners have historically been very good against the tight end, including this season. So probably no looks for me. Jeff Wilson's a bum. Maybe a Debo receiving yards. He's been kind of quiet. So maybe I'll look at something like that if that's in the 50s, but probably nothing here.
Yeah, I tried to, shoot my shot with MVS last week. He was lined in the 40s, and I said I was going to take him there.
One of these weeks.
He put up a big goose egg. So, yeah, I'm not going to try and decode this Chiefs offense.
It's impossible. It's like, Juju was the big beneficiary last week, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, Sunday Night Football, Steelers against the Dolphins. The return of Tua Tagovailoa to the Dolphins lineup. They are laying 7 points at home. The over-under is 44.5. Kenny Pickett on the injury report with a concussion. I was expecting him to miss, but he was at practice today, so he's still in concussion protocol. We'll see if it's him or Trubisky. Pat Freiermuth also questionable, and then several injuries in the Steelers secondary to monitor. Cornerbacks Levi Wallace and Cam Sutton, Akella Witherspoon and Minkah Fitzpatrick all questionable. Could be very problematic with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the other side. Dolphins team, despite losing last week, obviously Teddy Bridgewater had to come in for the injured Skylar Thompson.
They should have won that game. They held the Vikings offense to 11 first downs, outgained them 458 to 234, and somehow lost by 8 points. Like, I looked at that box score and was just like that was the most Vikings game ever. Like, I don't know how they did that. No, the most Vikings game ever would have been Jalen Waddle not fumbling, and the
if
Dolphins
they lost. Good point. Yeah, the Vikings actually did come out with the win. And then the Steelers pull off the upset against Tampa. Mitch Trubisky's completing 3rd and 4th down. The invisible man, Chase Claypool, who has been non-existent all season. So it was a very weird week last week. What are you doing with this one? Is this Steelers is a big dog spot, or do you like Tua to, eat apart this banged up secondary?
Yeah, so I actually teased the Dolphins down, teased them with the Patriots on Monday night, and you said it. I just don't
love that.
I just don't think the Steelers have enough in this secondary. I mean, Miami's averaging 7.7 yards per pass on the season, and that's including the 2 games with Skylar Thompson at quarterback, and you have a Pittsburgh secondary that's allowing 7.2 yards per pass and now is missing pieces and banged up. And I think this is another game where you can kind of force an inferior offense to play from behind. And I just don't think the Steelers, like we've seen, I'm kind of expecting Trubisky here. And despite him having the game of his life in the second half against Tampa Bay last week, we've seen enough of this offense and what they look like with him at quarterback. And I don't think they can keep pace with this Dolphins team.
Yeah, I laid 7 with the Dolphins here. Love them in teasers as well.
Oh, you laid the 7. Wow. Okay.
I laid 6. I'll be honest. I laid 6. I would lay 7 if I didn't have the 6, if I didn't get in early. I am hoping it's Trubisky at quarterback, like you mentioned. But I just think this matchup sets up so well for the Dolphins. We talked about all the injuries in the Steelers secondary. Enter Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Tyreek. The fastest receivers in the league. They're going to carve up this secondary. And then on defense, the way that you want to attack the Dolphins this year has been through the air. Their rush defense has actually been really good. They held the Vikings to 27 yards of total rushing offense through the entire game before Dalvin broke a 53-yarder to ice the game with 2 minutes left. So the final stats don't necessarily tell the story of how well this Dolphins rush defense played last week and really all season. Trubisky isn't going to be able to capitalize on the secondary, which is really the issue of this Dolphins defense. So Steelers are scoring an average of 14 points per game, and Trubisky starts this year. So if he starts, I think the Dolphins win this in a rout. Tua comes back, offense is on fire, and this one's double-digit win.
Like it.
Prop market, Tyreek Waddle over receiving yards, no problem. Probably all I got.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Monday Night Football. Our favorite primetime team, the Chicago Bears.
What are they doing with
back again? Against the New England Patriots. The Patriots are 7.5-point home favorites in Foxborough. Over under is actually ticked up a bit to 40 here. Not sure if it's going to be Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi at quarterback for the Patriots. And then Damian Harris, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, all questionable on this Patriots offense. You said you took the Patriots in a teaser paired with the Dolphins. Is that your only play on this game, or do you have any looks on the side or total?
Yeah, that's my only play. I feel like it's a safe play, whether it's Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi, who had a good game last week. It's just such a grind for this Bears offense to get points, man. It was, I can't believe why are teams getting a Thursday game and then playing the following Monday? What is going on here? They just had to force the Bears in another primetime game?
Apparently.
This makes no sense to me. But, yeah, I mean, look, you're going to New England here. I know they have the extra rest, but this Bears team is just kind of as bad as we expected. I don't take anything from that game against, they hung in there with Washington. I don't take anything from that. So, yeah, just give me the Patriots in a teaser. They're the clear better team here. We've seen them get it done, putting up points on offense, and we've seen it get it done with their defense. Like they just seem to be like an all-around average team, but they'll have one side of the ball kind of step up in each game to kind of, motor them along.
Yep. I love the Patriots.
Okay.
It is apparent after talking to you this week that I am apparently higher on this team overall than a lot of people, and definitely higher than you are. Everything that we talked about in the offseason about this team has come to fruition. The offense keeps it clean. They run the ball. They don't turn it over. They don't beat themselves. They put up enough points to win games. And the defense, surprise, surprise, a bunch of guys that no one's ever heard of. Bill Belichick has turned this into one of the best defenses in the league. They're up to 7th overall in defensive DVOA. Bill Belichick with an extra day to prepare to take on Justin Fields. I went back and looked at some of the Patriots games over the last 2 years against quarterbacks kind of in like the bottom 5, bottom 10 of the league that I would classify Justin Fields in. They allowed 14 points to Trubisky and the Steelers in week 2. Last year, Zach Wilson played him twice, put up 6 and 13. Davis Mills actually had the best performance, scoring 22. Sam Darnold scored 6, Case Keenum 7, Matt Ryan 0, Trevor Lawrence 10. In the 8 games I just mentioned against bottom tier quarterbacks, the Patriots went 8-0 straight up, allowing an average of 9.8 points per game and 7-1 against the spread. This is just a dream matchup against an inexperienced quarterback who can't make a decision. He holds on the ball for too long. He's going to be forced into pressure all game long, and the Patriots are amazing at taking away your best ability, so they're going to stack the box, take away David Montgomery, and I see the Patriots dominating this game. I got it like 24-3.
Wow. All right.
My favorite bet of the week is also in this game that I will get to later.
Okay.
Props for you in this one.
I got nothing.
Yeah, not a ton here. I was going to be looking at David Montgomery unders. They actually had a quote underdog NFL release from Matt Eberflus, head coach of the Bears, that's saying that they're going to go with more of a hot hand approach moving forward. So that probably kills any value in a Montgomery under because they might not even post a line, or if they do, it might be so low it's not even worth it. Maybe look at Ramondre Stevenson if Damian Harris is out again. He did a very good game last week, even though he just missed his rushing yard prop by like 3 yards, which was just brutal. And then keep an eye out for Tyquan Thornton. He was a rookie who was absolutely electric in the preseason, activated off IR last week, played 42% of snaps, saw 5 targets, 4 catches, 37 yards and a touchdown. Also gave him 3 carries. He turned that into 16 yards and another touchdown. This is a guy that ran a 4.2840, so can absolutely fly. I think they're going to try and get him involved in this offense in a number of different ways that, the offense is lacking some explosiveness. So I think Thornton could be a big part for them.
All right.
All right, that wraps it up. We will kick it over to our long shots, favorite bets, chalk donkey parlay, and then we will get on out of here. So what do you got for your long shot of the week?
I am going to go with a 2 touchdown play, and I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker. Walker. He scored last week. We don't need to talk about how bad this Chargers team is. So if the Seahawks are going to put up some points here, I think it's going to be on the back of Kenneth Walker. So give me 2 touchdowns. The odds are not posted when I last checked, but should be pretty good odds for that.
Can I quote something that you sent in our group chat last weekend?
I guess. I'm not sure if it'll help or hurt my play here, but
it's a bit puzzling. You said, I don't bet touchdown props.
Oh, I don't bet them straight up. I bet I will take 1 or 2 as a long shot.
Okay.
Didn't work out well last week with MVS, but
all right, that's true. You had MVS.
I'm not putting in this will be my only touchdown bet, but it was my long.
Right, you're not analyzing every game betting it. Okay.
No.
I take a similar approach. Yeah. I think if I find value on a couple each week.
I don't think it's a profitable market, especially when you see there's been like 80 less touchdowns scored this year compared to this at this point last season. So touchdowns are way down. So I think if you're putting in, 8 to 10 touchdown bets per week, it's not going to be a profitable strategy.
Yeah, in any market they don't let you bet the yes no on, you can pretty much guarantee they're holding an insane amount of profit on that.
Exactly.
Like if they let you bet no on some of these touchdown scores, it'd be a way more efficient market. The fact that they only let you bet yes, I mean, they could price these at insane amounts, and people would just be like, oh yeah, Joe Mixon minus 300 to score touchdown.
Yeah.
My long shot of the week, also going to go with a touchdown score. My guy, Thursday Night Football, going to be absolutely electric.
Oh, God.
Taysom Hill for an anytime touchdown. Johnson. No. I don't think he's going to be used that much in the red zone because the whole red zone offense is Taysom Hill. Unfortunately, the best line I can find on this is plus 190 on points bet. So I'm going to parlay it with the game total under 58.5. That got me over.
That is such a cop-out. Are you kidding me?
But it has to be plus 200.
I know that's such a big. That is so.
Hey, the odds are there.
You buy 15 points on the total. That is so freaking lame. Are you kidding me?
Bad.
I am not counting. This is like. I don't even have words. You couldn't parlay with like a side or something.
I don't like the side in that game. I like the under.
That is just such a bad look for the podcast. Are you kidding me?
Taysom Hill anytime touchdown and the under 58.5. 5 rushing touchdowns on the year. He has scored in 3 of the 5 games. Last week, the Saints did not have a single snap inside the Bengals 12-yard line, so Hill did have a pretty productive game on the ground, but unfortunately, he didn't have those red zone goal line opportunities. But if they get down there against the Cardinals, I certainly think he will be in line for one. Finished with 5 carries for 39 yards last week, so Taysom Hill's getting in the end zone this week.
Can I have the analysis on the under 58.5 points, please? That is obviously, my God, I hope this is like a 35 to 30 shootout.
That would be hilarious.
Taysom Hill has 4 touchdowns. I better see on the app. I better not just see a Taysom Hill touchdown come through. I better see.
I'm not putting it on the app because I don't have the time to put parlays in, but I do have a screenshot. I bet both of them. I bet him plus 190 to score, and then I did bet the parlay that I'm giving out here because that would be disingenuous if I did.
Can I actually add? Can I add Seahawks plus 35.5 with Kenneth Walker 2 touchdowns, please? I'll take the extra.
The odds up a little
I'll
bit.
take the extra 5 cents.
All right, I love Taysom Hill. I wanted to get him in here, but it wasn't 200. What do you want me to do? All right, let's get to our favorite bets of the week here. There will be no alternate spreads of 15 points in this market. Just a regular old minus 110 bet that we can find.
Yeah.
What do you got?
All right, so I was leaning Colts, but I think now that the spread dipped down, I'm going to go with the Chiefs here. I just think there's too many injuries on this Niners team to overlook. So getting us under a field goal with the team that is clearly superior here. And like I said, I expect the Chiefs to kind of take control of the game flow and force the 49ers to play a little bit of catch up. So give me the Chiefs 2.5.
Okay, I like it a lot. All right, so mine, I'm going to go. I love the Patriots at -7. Don't love it as much as 7.5. So I'm going to go with the Bears team total under 15.5. Kind of went through the whole breakdown in our Monday Night Football, Bill Belichick against Justin Fields. The Bears offense has been absolutely brutal. Even in garbage time, like we kind of saw when the Patriots played the Lions a few weeks ago, like the Lions are the ultimate garbage time team. They scored 0 points in that game. The Patriots defense did not let up. They're not the kind of team that's going to let the back door wide open and, okay, fine, drive down the field. We're in prevent defense. I don't see that from the Patriots defense. So I think the Bears are going to struggle to score a touchdown in this game. Maybe they get one and they finish with 10 to 13 points. But like I said, I think this is Patriots in a route, lay the points, take the team total under, however you want to play it. But I'm going to go team total under 15.5 is my favorite bet of the week.
All
right. Dare we do a chalk donkey parlay, or did the donkey just get taken out back and shot to death? Because
I feel like it was good that we did these to show people that betting parlays is not profitable.
We'll just keep it going as the unprofitable part. This is what not to do.
Well, I feel like most of the bigger underdogs, one of us is either on or leaning to in terms of the spread. So
I like the Dolphins and the Patriots. That's probably the only ones that I would even
do it as a teaser. I mean, we can
the chalk donkey teaser.
Chalk donkey teaser. Yeah, we can do that.
All right, Dolphins and Patriots chalk donkey teaser. We're breaking all the rules here.
All right, I like it.
All right, before we head on out, did you get a chance to look at the lines for week number 8? We need a look ahead line for next week. What do you got?
I feel like it's getting tougher, man, especially since the totals
They're getting good. They're getting really
like
good.
I didn't see anything that I'm like, oh my God, I got to bet this now.
I had one that I liked a lot.
All right, what is it?
I don't know if I like it a lot, but I like it.
All right, you don't. Yeah, what did you have?
I took the Bengals on the money line against the Cleveland Browns. I think I found like a -130. They play at Cleveland next Monday night. I think the Bengals are going to be in for a pretty big performance here. I don't know if they're necessarily going to cover the spread, but I think they're very likely to win. And the Browns are 6.5 point underdogs against the Ravens. So I think if you just play this out in the market, the Bengals very likely to win. The Browns are very likely to lose. What are the chances that we think more highly of the Bengals at this time next week, less highly of the Browns? I think the Bengals offense can just tear apart this Browns defense. It seems to allow points to everybody. So I wouldn't be surprised if this reopened Bengals -3.
I don't know. I don't see that one moving a ton. I mean, maybe it goes to -3, but
I mean, if you get 2.5 and it reopens at 3 or 3.5, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. I definitely don't see it opening at 3.5. And I don't think the Browns are as live to win or lose this week as you think. I mean, it is the Ravens, like we talked about.
No, anything can happen. I'm just saying, if you go by the numbers in the market right now, like one team's a 6.5 point dog, the other one's a 6.5 point favorite. Like, there's a pretty good chance that one team wins, one team loses.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bet it now.
Yeah, it's probably about it. Niners.
Maybe the Patriots. Maybe the Patriots. 1.5 against
the Jets.
Yeah. So. Yeah,
I don't know. The Jets beat the Broncos. They're the hottest team in the league.
Yeah,
no stopping that train.
That's these look ahead lines are getting a little more efficient.
A lot more efficient.
A lot more, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything left to say on this week?
Nope.
Thank you, everyone out there, for listening. Have an awesome week number 7. We're going to crush it this week. Get back all the money that we lost in week number 6. No doubt in my mind. Official prop sheet will be posted on the Twitter page later this week. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Smash the like button on YouTube. The link to the YouTube video will be in the description of the podcast. From Jeff and Rue, we are the Bet Right Sports Betting Podcast, because every time you bet with us, you bet right.